We're going to walk you through how to fine-tune your design, prepare it for the stencil before we get to sending it to this unit. There's a few things that you want to be aware of. I'm working in Procreate. This is my design that I'm going to work with. It's in Procreate, but whatever app you're using, you're going to want to mirror the image. That way you're going to have a stencil that has the proper orientation for what you want. Right there. You want to make sure that you mirror your image before exporting. We're going to save this image from Procreate. You share your artwork as a JPEG. So this will go into my gallery now. Now I can pull it from my gallery and get it into the Brother iPrint and Scan app. So we're going to go in here to all photos. We see that we have the one that we flipped. We're going to grab that. Done, get that up there. And what we're going to do is make some fine-tune adjustments to this. The first thing that we want to do, we want to crop this image. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to crop over here on the right, and we're going to crop that down. So that's what we're going to be manipulating right there. We are going to scale it if we want to, but let's say we want to move it a little bit. Our client's there, we need it sized down a little bit. All we do is just size it down to the size we need. Now if you see I have the design at the bottom of this page, I put it there so that not only can I see the perspective on size, because this is set up as a letter canvas, I can see the size of the design, but I can also prevent myself from burning up a bunch of paper, so I can be efficient with my stencil paper. And to do that, all I did was hit this move tool, and now I can move that image anywhere I want. I like it down in the bottom, so I'm going to use only that portion of the stencil paper. It also, again, gives me perspective on the size that it is, because I know this is 8.5 inches wide. Now that we have our image on the bottom of the page, we've moved it there, we have it where we want it, we can do some finer tune adjustments just by hitting the flipping tool. This is going to allow you to rotate your design by using this rotate button right there, and this would allow you to move it and place it on the stencil paper a little bit different. So within the flip tool, you also have this angle tool. It's recommended that you angle your design just slightly so that the printer will not jump when dealing with horizontal lines. Okay, now that we have our design set up at the bottom of the page here, a couple little things that we can talk about. If you go into this print settings menu, you can change the paper size to letter, legal, or A4 if you need that. You can also go into change the amount of copies. Don't necessarily need to do that when we're talking about stencils. We can also change the density. If you have a dark image, you can lower the density. If you have a light image, you can increase the density. So typically with this stencil paper and this unit, you're going to want to be in a range of 8 to 10. So we have it set up on 8 right now. I think that's going to be just fine. Okay, we have our artwork set up. So now that our design is ready to go, I'm going to show you guys how to set up your printer, get this device, whatever device you have, connected to the S8 Stencil Printer. And on the iPad Pro, we're going to want to go into settings. We go to our Wi-Fi networks. This is going to create its own Wi-Fi network. So we see that here. It's the Direct 38732 PJ773. That's the model. Once we select our Wi-Fi network, you're going to have a password. The password is going to be the model number 773 plus the last 5 digits of the serial number. So you can find that serial number on the bottom of your unit. So again, 773, that's the model number, last 5 digits of the serial number in addition. That's going to be your password. So now we are connected. We need to take our stencil paper. What we want to do is load the paper in here first. First thing we do, we remove the brown tissue paper. We're going to flip the paper over. We're going to remove this yellow backing off the back. That's a little different from the old way of doing things. Once we have that, with the printer facing towards us, we're going to feed the paper right into the printer feed, and you'll see and feel it catch just a little bit. You can then take and press, which is the second button down, the feed button. And you don't want to hit that too long, because that will actually, if you hold that down, it'll feed your paper all the way through. So a few times we want to press the feed until we start seeing the paper come through. We want to lift this printer hood That allows us to now adjust the paper side to side and on the front. Close that back down. You can get a nice read on whether you have the paper in there straight by this line that's on the top of the paper. You have it straight, now you're ready to print. Before we hit the print button, what we want to make sure is we have a little bit of tension on the stencil paper as it's coming out. The data from the iPad hits pretty fast, so that stencil will start printing out right away. And there you go. If you were going to continue to use this paper throughout the day, obviously you wouldn't rip off this whole sheet. You would cut it straight across. But there you have it. Nice, clean stencil that's going to make for a great tattoo. Let's say that the client wasn't happy with the size, you weren't happy with the size. We don't have to waste all this paper. We can just print it again on the same sheet. However, we need to go back into our Brother iPrint and Scan app, manipulate the image like we did before. We're just gonna move it to a different part of the page. So we're gonna move it up just a little bit, make it just a little bit bigger. Client wanted to go big. Now it's ready to go. Pretty close, but we can make some fine-tuned adjustments right there and make sure everything's gonna come through nice and square, and we are ready to go. So we're gonna print. This is gonna send this data, and there we go. You can see it's starting to print higher on the page now. So we didn't waste any paper. We just used the same sheet we had, sized it up a little bit, client will be happy and go home with a good tattoo.